Hello friends and family. I guess we are gathered here today to celebrate the union of my plants and potentially a certain death in the near future. And I just have a few plants that are truly like screaming at me to help them. So we're gonna address those today. I do have just a small handful, maybe like 2 or 3 plants of non-rehabs that just need to be repotted, and I thought I would just squeeze it into this video as well. Today's repot and chat topic is gonna be something that has been requested of me a few times over the last few months, and that is talking about things that I do that make people on the internet very angry. I talk about online bullying and comments that I get a lot on this channel, and I don't know, for me it's just a topic of conversation. It's not something that bothers me anymore, so I thought, why not give them their spotlight and do a whole video on it? Because it's my channel, I have nothing else to talk about today, so we're just gonna, I have a little list that I have written up, and we're just gonna go through them and save some plans and chit chat and hang out for maybe the next hour or so. But of course, before I start and get into it and get set up here, I'm gonna show you the roster. But first, the elephant in the room is that the plant room has changed a little bit. You can see behind me, that I did have to dismantle the top half of this shelf because things are just growing out of control, and it's a great problem to have. It can be stressful, but the reason that I wanted to get this specific shelving unit is because I can adjust the heights and I can remove shelves as needed. So now I've just got, I guess, 2 or well, technically 3 levels, and now things can just grow upward, and problem solved, crisis averted. But I was a little hesitant to do it just because I really liked my whole shelf setup. It was a pain in the ass to disassemble and get, re-shifted so that things could fit. But overall, I'm actually really happy with it. I feel like it makes it look kind of lush. We have something different to look now. We have something different to look at now as a background, and I think it worked out. So maybe in my next week of plant to-dos, I'll give you guys a closer look at the things that have changed in here. But anyway, let's just get started with this roster. The first one I'm gonna bring out is something that sparked this whole idea of doing plants that need attention, and that is my Cuprea. You can see I did chop off like 2 leaves a few days ago, but you can see it's actually not doing terribly. Like, it's cute. I have 2 cute leaves right now, but the reason this needs help is because I broke the glass. I had a day a couple, maybe like a week ago now, where like literally from the moment I woke up until I went to sleep, I was just like a walking disaster. I had broken maybe 3 vessels that day. I broke something in the sink when I was washing dishes. I knocked over a plant on my plant shelf. I injured my hip. It was just, I don't know. I have these days where like I just kind of flail around through life and I don't realize like where my body parts are, and I don't know. I'm just, yeah, like a walking hurricane. And so, yeah, on this specific day, I accidentally broke this vessel. So I just need to get it out of here. I need to get it into a new vessel. I'm sure it's really, really thirsty because all of the water fell out and I didn't want to touch it with bare hands. So we're going to be rescuing this guy today. I might try and see if there are like any corms that I can harvest. Not that I really need another Cuprea, but I've been kind of doing this thing where I like I add the little like sprouted corms into the pot to make it look fuller. I did that with my scalprum, which is not doing too great right now. It has spider mites, so I need to address that too. But anyway, Cuprea is going to be definitely on this list. Whoa. The next one. Ugh. I talked about this in a recent video. This is my Cuprea madagascariensis. It is dying, like full on dying, and it's because it has like the worst case of spider mites that I have seen from a leafless plant. Like, what on earth is happening here? Why are there so many spider mites? I'm just gonna try and salvage what I can. I'm gonna have to trim down quite a bit. I did an update on this specific potting setup. I'll link it in the description. But I don't like it. I tried out the rock thing. I thought it might be okay. I mean, I didn't think it would be okay. I kind of knew that it wouldn't be okay, and I did it anyway, and I don't like it. It never dries out. This has been wet since the moment I potted it into here, and I just hate it. So I'm going to take this out. I'm gonna pest treat it again, even though I did a massive pest treatment on it when I got it into here. I did like a full soak. Nothing worked. So now this is rescue number 2, and that is one of my favorite plants in my collection, and so I am very I'm anxious about it. I'm concerned about it, especially because it was a gift from my dear friends for my birthday, and I do not want to lose it. The next one is one of my Philodendron gloriosums. This was a bottom prop cutting from the main plant, which is actually doing great. Besides a little bit of yellowing from spider mites, from the repot, from chopping it, it's actually doing pretty well, and it's had new growth. Ow, I just kicked my Cuprea. Inside of the vessel. Down here, you can see where the rhizome has continued to grow. We've got a growth point that's squished up against the glass. There's just a lot of not great things happening here. I guess I thought the new growth would come up this way, and instead it grew downward, and now it's trying to go back up. So I don't know what this rescue is gonna look like, but I think that there may have to be some chopping. We may need to sever off some leaves. I don't really know, but we gotta get a handle on it. This light is blinding me. Okay, next on the list is a plant that I actually haven't done anything to for probably over a year now on this channel, and that's my Anthurium crystallinum black. I do love this plant a lot, but it's gone through a lot in the last several months. It's been in this pot forever, and I kind of have a feeling that there's a lot of roots in here that are not even alive anymore. This root system is way too massive for just these 2 leaves, and there's been a bit of an issue with my tank top is bothering me. It's like bunching. Ugh. The straps are too long, and so it just, ow. Okay, anyway, this plant has kind of gone through it in the last, I would say year and a half. I really haven't had a decent leaf on it for as long as I can remember. It hasn't even been spider mites, it hasn't been any of that. It's just been, I don't know. I feel like this crystallinum doesn't really like the low humidity out in the living room, but I'm not prepared to put it into a high humidity greenhouse. I mean, I can't, it's just too big. So I kind of just want to start over. I'm sort of thinking of just chopping these leaves back and starting from a prop cutting or just a small plant so that I can grow it from being really little, because when I imported it, the leaves were pretty much this big already. Well, not this big, it was a bit smaller, but I'm finding that a lot of my Anthurium that, I acquired at, the Anthurium that I acquired as a larger plant, they've died back fully, and then when they come back, they're just so much stronger, more acclimatized to the conditions that I've been giving it, and so I haven't really been against starting over from scratch. So this one had a new leaf, and it was coming out, and then it got stuck, did the little Cinderella slipper thing. I gave it a spray with water. The next day it was dead. The whole thing just had mushed up, so I don't know what that was about. But yeah, I think I'm gonna chop this one back fully, maybe start some propagations. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll figure it out as we go. The next plant is not a plant I'm super sure about anymore. Well, I've been unsure about it for a while, but this is my Philodendron El Chogo Red, Juvenile, whatever. I don't really like calling it that name. It's kind of a mouthful. That's what she said. I don't know if I like this plant anymore. And I've been going back and forth about it because this was one of the first big leafy philodendrons that I fell in love with. I really just I looked at photos and I was like, that has to be that's it for me. That's it for me. Stop doing this. I always do this and it bothers me when I'm editing. I'm like, why do you do that with your hands? So yeah, it's just one of those philodendrons that I truly fell in love with through photos, and It was one of the first philodendrons I ever imported, and I don't know, it's kind of lost its appeal to me. Even with like the large El Choco leaves, like they're beautiful, but I don't know if it's something that I'm like, I can see myself loving long term and wanting to really care for it. I don't know. Lots and lots of mixed feelings about this plant, and you know, I see photos of it, I see videos of it, and I'm just like, why? Why don't I love it as much as my other philodendrons? It's got the dark leaf, it has the red abaxial, it has like the velvetyness to it. It checks all the boxes, but for some reason I just can't get myself to love it the way that I used to. So yeah, it's got the longest stem ever. I think I'm just gonna like chop it and make props. I'm actually going to be filming a video right after this where I put all of my propagations together because I'm planning to do like a big plant purge. And now that I've gotten like a lot of my spider mite thing under control, but yeah, I don't know what's happening with this. I don't know. I know I'm gonna chop it, but I don't know, am I gonna keep the top? Would you keep the top? Am I gonna regret getting rid of the whole thing? I don't know, I'm gonna have to really talk myself through it today, you guys. So the next three are not, I'm so high, I can't even reach the floor. The next three are not rehabs, they're just seedlings that I really need to repot ASAP, and I don't know the next time that I'm gonna be able to do it on camera. Oh man, that root dried out, damn it. So the root, the first one is one of Lauren from North Shore Tropicals, one of her like own hybrids. So this is an Anthurium magnificum crossed with a Nigrolaminum GG. It's still really tiny right now. Honestly, anything crossed with a GG, I'm here for. I love a GG. I'm not the greatest at growing it, as some of you know. I've killed many of them, but I find magnificums to be a pretty, I was gonna say hefty, a pretty, oh gosh, I can't think of my words today. Hardy, that's the word. I find the mag to be a very hardy Anthurium, so I do think that this one might work out better for me than the GG on its own. So this one is in moss. It's coming out of the pot, and it was nice and healthy yesterday. I took it out, and now it's all dried up. The next one, I guess, is considered a rehab. This is another one of Lauren's seedlings. So this is an Anthurium Ace of Spades green form crossed with a mag. I'm gonna throw in a photo of her her green ace, and it probably is one of my favorite plants in her collection. I don't know if I maybe like it more than the regular Ace of Spades, but either way, I'm super happy to have a hybrid from that plant just because it's so beautiful. And then again, you know, we're crossed with a mag and hoping that it keeps like that hardiness. It keeps that hardiness of the mag. Today is a disaster. I feel it. It truly is a disaster. I can't get my words out. There's not a thought between these ears. And I'm struggling. Why am I struggling so bad today? Okay. The last one that I'm going to be repotting is not one of Lauren's seedlings, but this is actually a hybrid that was created by Jing. She crossed her Anthurium tofu, and if you know what a tofu is, it's one of the, I think it's like a mag hybrid, an Indo mag hybrid that's really pretty. I'll throw in a photo here. We call it the tofu Anthurium because she grew it in a tofu container. We don't know the exact parentage. I saw a plant that looked identical to this one, and on that person's post they said that it was an Ace of Spades crossed with a mag, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the actual parentage. But either way, it's a really beautiful plant, and she crossed it with Alice's Dark Forgetii. So just two incredible plants did the sex, and now we have these. And I have seen other seedlings come out of this batch, but I'm not gonna lie, I think I got a really good seedling. She gave it to me when it was like teeny tiny, like you couldn't even tell what it was. But it's just grown these like beautiful little like lobes and this tiny angry sinus. Some of the ones with this, maybe a little bit less mature than this, has a totally different sinus and looks more like your sort of run-of-the-mill Anthurium sinus. I just honestly think I got a really good seedling because this one has grown significantly faster than all of the other seeds from that batch, and so I think I got like one of the really strong ones. So that's very exciting. I'm very happy for myself, and I can see this easily becoming one of my favorite plants in my collection. Just, I don't know, I find myself gravitating toward it like all the time when I'm checking in on my plants, or even when I'm having like, you know, I'm kind of in a lull right now where I'm not super tending to them. I'm just doing the bare minimum. But even when I'm feeling that way, I'm always like wanting to see what's going on with this plant. So it's living in pond, a very perlite heavy pond right now in this tiny cup. This is what I got it in as a seedling. You can see the stem has grown a little bit, and a lot of those nice juicy roots that formed in the prop box are now dried out. So I just want to get it into something larger. I am going to keep it in pond. Most of these plants I think are going to still be in pond, but wanted to end it with this one because I'm just like kind of hoping that I can transition this out to my living room soon and get like a nice big leaf on it. I'm just so curious to see what it's going to look like. But gosh, look how dark it is. I just like don't want to take it off camera. It's like so dark, and it's got that like really nice forgetty-eye color leaf. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna get set up here and we're just gonna get right into it, and then we're gonna start talking about the things that people don't like me online for, and it's gonna be a fun time. So I'm trying to give you guys the best angle here. Oh my god. You know what bullcrap is? I didn't film all day yesterday and I had my contacts on because I'm trying to I got new glasses, lenses, because I scratched the crap out of mine. So I've had to rely on my contacts, but I'm just using trials right now, and all of the trial lenses that I got are just garbage for astigmatism. It's just constantly rotating. I don't like this angle still. I think that's a little bit better. So anyway, long story short, I can't see jack crap, and yesterday I wore my contacts all day, and it was just kind of like my chores day, like getting the house back in order, doing laundry, blah blah blah, and I had like the best contact day. It wasn't spinning, crystal clear vision all day long, and I'm like, why can't this happen on a day where I'm like having to leave to drive or film, you know, because it's kind of important that I can see when I'm filming. So anywho, I'm gonna start nice and easy. We're gonna start with the Anthurium that need to be repotted. I think, and I don't know why, but I think I'm gonna try a mixture of tree fern fiber and soil with this little guy. I think I'm gonna stick with pond for this one, and then I think since this has water roots, I think I'm gonna do pond as well. I've been using these square pots because, and I got these from the dollar store. They weren't $1, they were $2.50, but they have worked so well with the square pots from Lauren. These square pots right here, like they just fit so perfectly into it to do a semi-hydro setup. So I'm going to be repotting this into a pot with drainage, and this pot is quite large for this vessel, but I think I'm going to do leca down at the bottom since I just picked up leca, and then I'll do pond on the top. And I've been doing that with I converted some of my Anthurium to drainage just because I thought maybe that would help with, I don't know, some of the cosmetic damages, or like if I am having like, you know, an overload of like fertilizer buildup and stuff. And it's been working okay. I will give you guys an update on that in a separate video, but I think I'm gonna try doing the same thing with this one while it's still little. So, oh, I need my phone. Anyway, let's just get straight into what we're chatting about today. I need my leca, hold on. For today's topic, I'm going to be breaking it into things that people don't like me online for, that's plant related, and then just like personal. And I think I might flip-flop. Maybe let's start with the plant stuff first, and then if we have time, we'll go into the personal stuff. But I think many of you guys will know what's going to be number one on my list, and that is growing with no drainage. People like to give me sometimes too much credit for doing the no drainage thing, but truly, you guys, this is nothing brand new. It's nothing that I invented. It's not brand new. Like the idea and the concept of growing in no drainage is something that goes so far back in this hobby, and you know, something that's really obvious with that are people who grow terrariums or grow or create terrariums. I don't have that level of knowledge in terms of growing, you know, that many plants on that scale in that sort of setup with no drainage. I think terrarium making is definitely something that you have to like learn and practice, and I'm still trying to get into it, but I'm not 100% there yet as far as like making terrariums. So doing it with like single plants, easy peasy for me. It's nothing that I really have to think twice about now. It's not anything that's really difficult for me. But all that to say, I'm not the first person who ever did it, and it's not a concept that is 100% like my idea. I think the reason that people give me a lot of credit for it is because I'm doing something so public. I'm on YouTube, I have an Instagram, you know, and I really push that because it's something that's worked really well for me. I guess I was kind of surprised at like how much backlash it got, like since I started on YouTube. I used to really like defend myself a lot and try and explain to people why it works, how it can work. And I found that in those conversations, the people who are like vehemently, did I say that right? Vehemently against it are ones that like really probably haven't even tried it. Like my bet, I would put money on the fact that like the people who are super against no drainage and are very vocal about it, whether it be on their own platforms or through like comments, like, you know, Facebook threads or whatever, that they haven't even tried it. Because I think that once you get the hang of it, I feel like anyone could do it. It's not that difficult. I find it to be so much easier than growing with drainage. So yeah, I can't really commit that much energy and time anymore to have conversations with these people where I'm truly trying to like give my side or like explain why it works when they don't really want to listen. And so I've stopped fighting that battle. You know, I've created, I think, enough videos on this channel now that can articulate why I choose to grow that way and why I think it can work for a lot of people. And I always say it's not for everyone. That's true. It really isn't for everyone. You know, there are people who have told me like, hey, I gave it a try. I did everything that you said and I can't grow in no drainage. And I do try and help, but like, if it just doesn't work for you, then it just doesn't work. And at least you tried it, you know? And now if, you know, someone came up to you and asked like, does this actually work? You have firsthand experience to say like, it didn't work for me. And I respect that, and that's fine, because this channel wasn't created to convince you of anything. It wasn't to teach you how to grow plants the right way. This is really just my little tiny platform that I document my own plant journey on. And if people want to take certain advice or they want to give things a try, that's their prerogative. And I don't know. I don't really see the issue with people wanting to grow a different way. And no drainage just works for me, and it's what I'm going to continue to do. And I'm not saying that like every plant can grow in no drainage. Like, I've explained the plants and the setups that I prefer to have in no drainage. You know, I've told you guys that I only do it with plants that are like, you know, that can fit into things like this. I think the largest no drainage vessel I have is probably like a 10-inch diameter, and I mean, it's pretty deep. It's probably like maybe 2 feet deep or something. But I'm not planting like massive plants in no drainage. And I prefer not to, because it's just harder. It's harder to repot. It's harder to maintain. It's harder to fill. It's just too much of, you know, a substrate. Like if I wanted to do no drainage on like my euphorbia, and let's say I was using pond, like, do you know how much pond that would be? Like, it's so much easier to just throw it in soil, maybe even less amended, and be able to just water it fully and know that it's going to come out. Because you have to have a level of understanding your conditions, understanding what each of your amendments are doing. And I say it like a broken record in those in those videos that it's not as easy as just like chucking it into a vessel and then treating it like you do your plants with drainage. You have to know your conditions. You have to know everything you're putting into that substrate and what they do, and you have to be careful with your watering. So it's not this thing that you can just do like sort of like mindlessly, right? There is a conscious level of potting it a certain way, a conscious level or a consciousness when you're watering it. You can't just like go in and just do what you would do with your drainage plants. But I feel like some people take it that way. Like I'm just saying like, oh, just do it. Like it's so easy and you know, it's not any different. Like, no, I am 100% aware that it is a lot different than growing with drainage. And for some plants, I just prefer to have drainage, and that's fine. I'm not like against growing with drainage. I still do it pretty often. Yes, most of my collection is in no drainage, but that's just my preference. So I think I'm gonna be inoculating with billions today. Oh my god, my contact keeps rotating. I can't see anything, you guys. Like, I'm just, like, the left eye is fine. It's my right eye that gives me so much grief. Like, just pick an orientation and just stick with it, you know? Like, why? It's just constantly, like, swirling, and it's just, oh, I'm so dizzy. Okay, so I don't even remember what I was saying. Sorry, I had to listen to a voice note, and what was I saying? I don't remember. Okay, so I'm just going to fill now with a little bit of pond over the leca. Can I see anything I'm doing? No? Oh, cool. Oh, Kurt. I'm gonna place this guy in here, and then I'm gonna sprinkle some billions. So happy I have billions again. I was really missing it. I've been using a lot of Great White, and it's been great too, but I just have a very strange attachment to billions, and I just like the smell more, as I've said a million bajillion gazillion times on this channel. So yeah, sorry, going back to the no drainage thing, I really love seeing and hearing all of your sort of success stories in terms of growing aroids in no drainage, and it makes me really happy that it's helped a lot of you in this hobby and just made it more enjoyable in general, just because you guys were all having the same issues that I was having too, growing with drainage holes. And really that's all it's for. It's to give you something. It's to give you an alternative. It's to give you a different option, and nobody is saying that you have to like convert your entire collection right away just because I said that was what works for me. But like, you could give it a try at least, and if it works, it works, and that's great, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. And then like, no harm, no foul. I don't take any offense to it, truly. If it doesn't work for you, people have told me like, yeah, I fucking hated it, I would never do it again. And we have that sort of respect of like, yeah, well, like I can appreciate your plants and how well it works for you, but it's just not for me. And I'm totally okay with that. You know, I always like thank people for just giving it a try, for like trusting me. And if it doesn't work for them, like, it makes no difference to me. They're your plants. Just like these are my plants. Like, it really should not affect other people that much. And I guess that's what I get so confused about, is like, I think it would be different if I approached it in a way that was like, you guys are so dumb, and like, if you don't try it, you're stupid, and I don't like you. Like, I don't feel like I've ever had that sort of attitude about it on this channel. And if I have and have come across that way, I truly apologize. Like, the last thing I would ever want anyone to feel after watching a video on this channel is to feel like they're doing something wrong, or feel like the way that they do things is not the right way. Like, I truly do not feel like in the indoor aroid hobby, because of how unnatural it is, really, if you think about it, I don't feel like you can do anything wrong if it works for you. If you like the way your plants are growing, granted, you guys can tell, I don't have the largest plants in the world. I'm not the best person at growing plants, but I'm happy with the way that my plants grow for the most part. And no drainage is easier for me to maintain with my schedule, because plants are only a small part of my life, and I don't really see what the issue with that is. So anyway, this guy is potted up. I'm feeling really good about it. I'm actually gonna just go to the sink and just kind of, actually no, I don't want to do that because I just inoculated it. Usually what I should have done is let water run through it because I want to just kind of clean it out. I didn't sift out that leca, so it's going to be really dusty, but I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to put it straight into here and then I'm going to water it through. I always forget how much I hate having this white bowl on camera because it messes up my exposure. I might need to change that. I think I have a bin here I can use. So anyways, I'm just gonna water this through. I'm not gonna leave a huge reserve right away. I just want the pond to be wet and the leca to be wet so that the roots don't dry up. And then maybe in a few hours, I will top it up and add more water. But yeah, I got this, I mean, I've done this growing method accidentally, like where I've had something in drainage and then it starts to grow out the bottom, and so I don't want it to dry out, so then I'll just like put it in a vessel, and it's just kind of worked out for me that way, like as a happy accident. But I wasn't really motivated to do this purposely until Lauren started doing it with her Anthurium. And if you guys see her Anthurium, they are gorgina. So I was like, you know what? Let's give it a try. Let's give it a whirl. And here we are. We're whirling. So feeling good about this, honestly. I really am. And I think the next leaf that's going to come out is going to be not giant, obviously. It's a tiny plant. But I feel like we're going to have a good amount of size growth. I'm going to use this bin instead so that my exposure doesn't go crazy. So I think that this is a good segue into the next point, and that is people that get mad at me for experimenting on this channel. It seems like whenever I do something wrong, like if I have like a mega failure, like whether it's trying a different substrate for propagating or potting something a certain way, like when it goes wrong, there are legit people that get angry. Like legit people. There are people that legitimately get angry at me for doing that. I can kind of see maybe the frustration on the other end if like you know 100% that what I'm doing is wrong and you're just like, come on, like, you know, obviously that's not gonna work. But like, unless I've tried it myself, I'm not gonna write anything off. And I much prefer to learn that way in this hobby, is like by trial and error and failing at it myself and just making sure that, you know, it's not gonna work. Because, you know, before I was in this aeroid hobby as deep as I am now, the one thing that people preached online is just like grow with drainage. And if I had just like really stuck to that advice and not tried growing without drainage myself, I really think I would not be where I am today, like with a full YouTube channel and my Instagram, because I think that I would have been really terrible at growing plants and would not have had a great time. And I probably wouldn't have as many plants as I do now. So all that to say, like I like experimenting and I like seeing what works and what doesn't work. And of course, failing at something, for example, Hoyapocalypse, it doesn't feel great to lose a bunch of plants, to see something decline because of something you did. But like, that's how I learn. I learn by just like jumping in myself and doing it. And I don't just show the good parts on this channel. And I know that there are some channels or some creators out there that like just want to show the good stuff, like the plant shopping and the new leaves and like the nice big mature, you know, plants that they've grown over a short period of time or whatever it is. And that's all fine and dandy. Like, I truly believe that there is a creator out there for everyone. And like, maybe me showing a lot of the failures on this channel is not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. I've never once claimed that like I should be liked by everyone. I knew going into making a YouTube channel that not everyone was gonna like me, and I think if I tried really hard to get everyone to like me, I think I would not be myself. And if I couldn't be myself on this channel, I would not have one. So, you know, if it got to a point where like most of the comments were like really bad and like everyone hated me because of me just being myself, I think I'd probably like throw in the towel and be like, you know, maybe I'm just not built for YouTube because they just don't like me. But it's mostly good. I do get like a fair number of like mean comments, but 95% of it is just like absolutely wonderful. So those are the comments that keep me on YouTube, because I'm not making videos for myself, I'm making them for you guys. So yeah, anyway, all that to say, experimenting. I don't see the issue with it. I don't see why I shouldn't be able to like try something that I read online or try something that another creator has said to do. There are certain things that I will refuse to do, and that's, again, that's my decision, that's my choice. But if I want to experiment and like make a big boo-boo, like, why is that anybody else's problem but my own? It's not like I'm doing it to your plants, you know. Everything is on my dime, on my time, and if it helps other people kind of like avoid certain mistakes or make an opinion about advice that they've heard, then that's like an added bonus. And at the same time, I'm learning too. So if you didn't know what I was talking about referring to Hoyapocalypse, that is when I tried the method of essentially boiling, it's not boiling, it's like 120 degree water that is not boiling. Essentially using like very, very hot water to kill mealybugs on your Hoyas. And I nearly lost, I would say, 80% of my collection. And it was a bad time. It was not a great time. I got so much backlash on that video. I think that was the video that got the most backlash online. And it was things along the lines of like, this is why, you know, not everyone should have a YouTube channel, or like these freaking fake COVID plant parents who are just like teaching people to do everything the wrong way, and basically everything under the sun that you could think of. Like, what were you thinking? Like, this was so stupid, I couldn't even watch it. Or like, you're unbearable. Like, just stuff like that. And I get, like, in hindsight, obviously looking back, I would never do it again because I learned the hard way. And that's my problem. That shouldn't be anyone else's problem but my own. And I thought it was, but apparently it really triggered a lot of people. They didn't like it. They didn't like the fact that, you know, I had tried it out myself. And I don't know, it's just the strangest thing when you're not essentially allowed to make a mistake. I think it would be different if I did that video and I showed the treatment and was like, all right, all done, like, you know, give that a try. I did the treatment, I showed you it didn't work for me, I showed you the outcome of, you know, my experience, and I don't really see how that was like influencing people to do the same. I think if anything, it was de-influencing you from making the same mistake that I did. Sorry, I'm trying to like get my soil together here, hold on. I try and be very careful about the things that I put on this channel, just because I feel this sense of responsibility almost for the things that I'm doing on this channel, because I don't know if everyone hears when I'm saying to just do everything that works for you and do everything at your own risk and do your own research. And I don't want to be the reason that somebody like kills their entire collection or like, you know, loses a plant that they love a lot. I don't want that to be my responsibility. And it's not, honestly, it's not. Like, when you watch a YouTube video, that's you doing your own research and, you know, finding things that works for you. Like, I'm not holding anyone's hand to like do something that they don't want to do. But it's just natural for me to feel like, hey, you should probably be careful about the things that you're doing and saying on this channel, and putting in a disclaimer whenever you can. And I do feel like a broken record sometimes when I'm just constantly like, do what works for you and don't listen to me because I'm a big fat dum-dum. But it's true. I don't want that responsibility of, or I don't want the responsibility of like essentially causing anyone's plants harm, okay? Which is why, like, I've had a lot of requests for me to do like a Patreon or like to offer consulting or like, I don't know, essentially teaching you how to like care for plants. That's just not what I want to be. I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I mean, it's really nice that some of you guys trust me so much and that some of the stuff that I have done works for you, but I'm not, in my mind, qualified to do that for you. And so I just try and be as thorough as possible on this channel just so that you guys kind of understand my thought processes when I'm doing things, or like explaining why I have the opinions that I do about certain things in this hobby, and just kind of hope that that's enough for you to go out and like make your own decisions about what you want to do with your plants, right? But it is strange that I get backlash for essentially experimenting with my plants, and there's a lot of people who are like, oh, those poor plants, like you killed that for no reason, and like what a waste, and blah blah blah. But I don't think that I will ever let anyone make me feel guilty for learning on my own and like learning my own way. And I could listen to someone in this hobby that I respect the most, or that I look up to the most, that has so much knowledge and so much wisdom and just like years in the hobby, way more than me. Obviously, I will take in any information and be grateful for it. I think a good example of that is Amanda, my friend Amanda. She is so amazing at growing plants outside of greenhouses, and she's been probably like my main inspiration in wanting to take all my Anthurium out and not grow them in greenhouses. And it's been a painful journey, but I'm sticking with it because I know that I know she does it and she does it well, and I don't see why like my experience should be any different if I'm kind of taking all of her advice. But if there was something that she said to not do, like don't do that, if I felt the urge to do it, just to make sure that it didn't work for me, I would do it, you know, because I do look up to her and all that, but I don't think that any one person should dictate how you take care of your own plants. That's your business. You're the one that has to deal with it. You're the one that spends the hours caring for them, and it should be enjoyable for you. You know what I mean? I don't think that I'm secretive in when I'm wrong or when something goes terribly for me. I feel like I'm like an open book, and I share with you guys everything that goes wrong. I share with you guys when I have pests, and I don't love having pests, but I have them, and I tell you guys when I have them, which is basically all the time. So yeah, I'm not trying to like fake anything here. I'm not trying to like prove to you guys that like I'm this amazing plant parent that everyone should look up to and everyone watch my videos because I do everything right. That's like actually quite the opposite of what I'm about. Anywho, God, my tummy is rumbling. So anyway, these two are done. Whoa. These two are done. Fingers crossed for a good transition. I always feel really, really nervous when I'm potting up seedlings because the root systems are so stinking delicate. And I just find that you have to be really careful in the like first few, I would say like weeks that they've gone into their new pants. But you know, they've been really, really good for me, those plants. So I'm not super worried. I feel like there was one more Anthurium that I needed to rescue, but I guess not. Let's move on with the conversation and move on with these rescues. I think I'm gonna do my Dicaria matigariensis next, just because I think I'm gonna soak it for a little bit in my spider mite concoction throughout the duration of this video, and then we'll come back and repot it at the end. I'm trying to stay clean here because I have to film another video if I have a voice left, that is. Unfortunately for me, the only gloves that I have are, there's spikes all over them from a cacti repot. So, sorry, set a reminder for my ADHD brain. So this is gonna be painful. I'm gonna get pricked and poked, but we do what we have to do. I'm so excited to get it out of here. I can't even explain to you how excited I am. Oh, let's move on to the next thing. I don't think these roots are... No, I'm not gonna yank it out. So the next thing that people get mad at me for online is for scraping my plants. This one I'm not that surprised about because, I don't know, it does, like when you're watching it and if you've never seen it done before, you're just like, what on earth are you doing? What in the fresh hell am I looking at? I get it. It's a little bit off-putting. It seems very, very bad for your plant. And there are some people who, even when you've seen like the results of it, like if I show it to you in a video or whatever, there are still some people who are like, no, absolutely no, hard pass, not for me. And again, totally fine. I am not forcing anyone to do it, but I personally love scraping my plants. Ever since I started showing how I did it on YouTube with my handy dandy earwax scraper, I would say that a good number of people have picked up on it and are trying it for themselves. Wow, there are no roots on this anymore. Look at this. Look at her. This is, I mean, it wasn't super rooty to begin with, but it was certainly much better than this. There's like no root system. That's bad. So I'm gonna have to think about what this rehab situation is gonna look like. I'm kind of wanting to do a mixture of soil and tree fern fiber again, but I'll have to see. I'll wait till the end, obviously, like I said. But anyway, yeah, scraping. It looks scary, and I get it. But once you've done it and you've seen like how great it can be, I think you may feel differently about it. And I've seen lots of people who have shared their results and shared their success stories using like the scraping method, and I'm here for it. I love it. I love to see it. I'm happy you guys even like trust me enough to want to try it, but I could never go back to not scraping my plants. Like now, if I just like put a plant in, you know, in a pot where like clearly something can be scraped and whatever, and I just like shove it in there, it's just not, I don't know, I think it would bug me. It would bug me to no end. Oh, that one's, it's too bad. It looked like, so this guy right here grew inside of the pot and like kind of got squished up against the side and it snapped. Anywho, I'm just like kind of chopping off all the dried bits here. I really hate chopping this. It's very painful for me. But you know, surprisingly, this plant grows super freaking fast. Like it doubled in size way faster than I ever would have imagined. So I think it'll come back, and I think it'll be better for it once all of the spider mites like leave me the hell alone, because it's really bad, like really bad. I'm so sad. This was like my favorite part of it. It was like this, like it kind of looked like a weeping willow, and it was getting really large. So anyway, I mean, the good thing is now I have much less to work with in terms of treating for pests, and if I can keep all of this alive, I still have a good size like spooky plant. If you want to see the mixture that I'm doing for this plant, because I'm not going to film it, you can watch my Mykins video that I posted last week, and I will link it in the description. It's going to be the same exact combination, so give that a whirl. Next rescue is going to be this Gloriosum. I'm very curious to see what it looks like under here. And then while we do that, let's move on to the next one. This one is cleaning leaves with brushes, paint brushes and toothbrushes. I love cleaning my plants. I do. I think that, like, you know, there's a time and place to reference, and I do this on my channel, there's a time and place to reference like, oh, but this is how they grow in the wild and like without, you know, human interference and stuff. I certainly feel like there are instances where that applies, but I don't think that wanting to keep your leaves clean is one of them. Just because, sorry, I don't like that sound. Just because of the fact that we're growing them indoors. Like, we are literally coexisting with these plants. They are taking up so much real estate in our home. And I mean, cleaning leaves really isn't even just for cosmetic things, but for pest stuff. Like, I don't enjoy living in a house that has like a full spider mite outbreak. I find it to be really gross. It does creep me out, the fact that, you know, like, I'm just like living and breathing with these nasty things all over the place. And so if I can keep the leaves clean, not only does it like make it look nicer in my house, because again, my apartment is not the jungle, then I don't see the issue with it. So yeah, I like cleaning leaves. I like seeing a plant that has been freshly wiped down in the house. I find the process of doing it to be relaxing for me. And I think what some people forget about growing plants indoors is that it's for us. Like, this hobby is for us. It's not for the plants. Like, me growing all these plants inside my apartment is not giving back to the environment in any way. It is kind of it is a selfish hobby, like, if you think about it. Like, especially, you know, with poaching and stuff, like the things that people will do just to like make a buck on plants. If anything, we're kind of doing the opposite for the environment, I would say, as a whole. Like, this hobby is actually very damaging to the environment in a lot of ways. And I just think it's weird. That people are so quick to jump down your throat for doing something to a plant because it's not how it's done in the wild, or that's not how people have grown plants historically. Like, and that's fine. Like, you can use that justification for yourself in this hobby, and, you know, use that as a reason why you wouldn't do, I don't know what I'm looking at. I see 2 growth points, I think. Like, I see this growth point right here, and then there's another one here. I don't know what's going on, but it's like in the sheath almost. Or, oh, wait, what? Okay, I'm gonna break this off. I'm breaking it. I don't think that this is a leaf. Oh, maybe it was. Shit. Not that it was gonna do anything. Oh no, it's just a caterpillar. Okay. Empty caterpillar. So I'm gonna just rip the rest of this off. Anyway, yeah, so me cleaning my leaves is for me. It's because I want my plants to look pretty. It's because I don't want any pests on it. And sometimes, like, depending on the plant, like, if you've ever had scale on a plant, like, you know how difficult it can be to really get rid of them, because you have to like pluck them off. They like suction cup themselves to the plant, and it can be really difficult to remove it, especially, you know, with a full-blown infestation. And for me, I found it a lot easier to just use a toothbrush with a little bit stiffer of bristles to just kind of like wipe them away. And sure, yeah, you are removing some of that good, what word am I looking for? Not the coating. Well, it is the coating, but there's a word for it. Oh man, struggling today. Been struggling all month. Yeah, it like peels away that good film on the plant. But like, would you rather do that or have a full-blown scale infestation? I made my choice. That was my choice. And I just, you know, I stick with it. And I realize that it is kind of off-putting seeing someone scrubbing down a plant with a toothbrush, but going back to what I've been saying from the beginning, it's my plant. Like, I don't feel like I am doing that much harm in doing that to my own plant. Again, I'm not doing this to a plant that is in the wild. I'm not doing it to a plant that's in like a botanical garden. It's just in my house, you know? Sorry, I can't think because I'm so confused about what to do. I'm not really dead set on leaving these leaves. Like, I could honestly just like chop this whole growth point off and just kind of grow it separately, but at the same time, it's like, okay, no, you know what I want to do? I'm gonna start this plant over because it's too much. I don't necessarily want to propagate it because this is already my second plant of the same specimen. This was the bottom cutting as a reminder. But at the same time, I guess I could sell props of it. I can't make decisions today. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go into the next little thing because it is relevant to what I'm about to do, and that is chopping leaves off unnecessarily. I love chopping leaves off. It's my guilty pleasure, and I'm gonna do it right now, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So I'm gonna chop these leaves off, not only because there's just no way for me to pot this as a whole plant with making it look like nice. This does have previous spider mite damage. You can see it's already like yellowing a lot, and so to me it's like it doesn't add value to my collection in like an aesthetic sort of way. Like every time I see this plant on the shelf, I'm just like, oh my god, it's stressing me out. And so there are multiple reasons why someone would decide to chop a leaf off, and I think it's silly that I even have to like get into it or explain, but in having such a bad pest infestation, chopping leaves off has been the one thing that has helped me maintain my sanity, because I was not very long ago, I would say even like the end of last year, I was the type of person that was gonna just try and save and salvage as many leaves as possible. I would go through the painstaking process of washing down every leaf week after week after week and hauling these big, essentially ugly leafy plants into my shower to pest treat, and it was just a lot. So sorry, quickly, I just separated the new growth point from the old growth point, and now they are two separate plants, and this one has some nice roots coming in and I don't want them to dry up, so I'm gonna get them potted up pretty quickly here. And then this guy, I can see another growth point starting here, so I'm gonna, since it's a pretty long stem with root systems on both sides, I'm gonna chop this in half and I'm gonna just create two new plants. Ta-da. Okay, so yeah, like, yeah, I would go through that process of just trying to save as many leaves as I can. And again, it was my friend Amanda who, oh my gosh, you guys, I've talked about this before, you should see the stuff that goes down in that girl's apartment. You know, I feel lucky in a sense that I do get a peek at her process and the things that go down under or between those walls of hers. Some scary stuff. But she will just like chop off like a million leaves that don't even have pests, that are like big and perfect and beautiful, and she'll chop them off for no other reason than the fact it was too big and it was stressing her out and she couldn't fit it into the space she wanted to before. To me, I was like, holy smokes, that takes a lot of guts, because it's so hard for me to even grow a leaf that's half as beautiful as the leaves that she's growing, and she's just over here willy-nilly chopping them off and, you know, going on like fruit ninja on her entire collection. And it really did inspire me to just be like, you know what, like plants regrow, and if they're stressing you out, then isn't that being kind of counterintuitive to why you're in this hobby in the first place? Like, I didn't get into this hobby and I'm not collecting plants so that I can be stressed out all the time. I do realize that it comes with its stressful moments, but my plants, for me personally, is so that my house feels like a home. I like seeing them in my apartment. It is for an aesthetic reason, and that's that. So if something is looking ugly or it's stressing me out for any reason at all, yeah, now I'm just kind of in that mindset where I'm like, well, I'm just gonna chop you up into little pieces and we're gonna start over. Or if a pest infestation is so bad and I really can't get it under control, then I'm chopping you. And I've been able to like detach myself from the idea that I have to save every leaf that grows in this house. With the amount of pests that I've had over the last few years, it's just not feasible for me anymore to go about it that way. I don't have the time, for one. I don't have the mental capacity, and just it takes a toll on you. And I don't want to hate this hobby. I still want it to be an enjoyable experience for me, especially since now I'm doing it as part of my career. Like, I don't want the entirety of my time in this hobby to be just treating for pests or trying to, you know, maintain these big beautiful leaves for whatever reason it's struggling. So yeah, I chop leaves off, and I do it all the time. And even plants that are like perfectly healthy, if I don't like the direction a leaf is facing on my shelf or something, or if it's getting in the way of another plant being behind it, I'll just chop it off. And I realize that there are, you know, I do talk about like mobile nutrients, and especially if like a new leaf is coming in and an old leaf is going out, to me, in my mind, that means it's like moving those mobile nutrients into the rest of the plant. So I'll try and keep those. And you guys might notice in some videos, kind of like my scalprum, which also has spider mites, but that leaf is going out because another one's coming in. I will bear the ugliness and I will leave it. But there are some circumstances where I'm like, no, I just don't want to look at it anymore. And I don't care if there were nutrients that could have moved into the rest of the plant. In this particular instance, it would make me very happy if I could just not look at this leaf anymore. And so then I chop it off. And I'm not saying that you don't have like a right to feel some type of way about it. But again, it goes back to like, these are my plants. And it would just be completely different if I was like going into your house and doing all that stuff against your wishes. Like, I would never do that. I'm not that type of person. But I feel like some people paint me as that kind of person who's just so careless and whatever. And I say this often, is like, you just have to pick your battles. You just have to. Because if you try and fight them all and you give your 100% in every battle in this hobby, oh my gosh, you will be so burnt out so fast. And it's just not how I want to go about it anymore. And I think that's fine. Okay, so yeah, moving on to the things that people hate me for that are not plant related. Number one is my long intros. I get it. To me, this is how I see it. A long intro on a plant video, it kind of reminds me of like, you know, when you're like looking up a recipe, but for some reason on every person's recipe website, they have to give like their life story before it, where I'm like, can you just show me the ingredients and just show me what I need to look at? Show me the instructions. I don't need to know the history of how this was created in your house. I don't need to know what you went through as a child that brought you to making this recipe. Just show me the damn ingredients. Show me how to make it. That's how I see it when people get annoyed at my long intros. So I get it, right? But the difference is, when I come across a recipe that has way too long of an intro, I don't feel the need to like comment or message that person and be like, God damn you, like, get to the damn point already. Like, I don't do all that. Like, that's a lot. That is a lot of effort and projection onto a person that probably doesn't really care, to be honest. So I just scroll, right? I just scroll down to the bottom as quick as I can, just fast fingers, and I just get to the stuff I need. I see it that way with YouTube as well. It's like, there's like, if you look down, just like angle your head down a little bit, there's a bar right here. You see it? There's a bar. You can scroll and you can find what you need. You can scroll right past everything I have to say in the beginning and just get to the stuff you want. That's my advice if you hate my long intros. But truly, to be for real. The reason that I do some of these long intros is because I treat the intro as a way to like catch up with you guys or kind of give you guys a rundown of like why a video is gonna go a certain way or what's going on in my life. And that's because this is my channel, and I think that I've talked enough about my personal life on this channel that there are some updates that I feel are necessary. So I don't see how I'm harming anyone by having a longer intro. I don't think that I'm really inconveniencing your life in like such a detrimental way for having a longer intro. And sometimes it's just a way that I can like warm up and get ready for the video ahead. I'm just saying. So yeah, long intros. I've had multiple people that are like, shut the up, like just get to plants. Like we don't need to hear all this crap. Like just show what you were gonna show. I hear ya, I get it, but unfortunately that's a you problem, because I'm still always gonna treat my intros as a way to kind of just like shoot the shit with you guys and say hi and not just be like, here, 5 plants that I really love right now. That's not what this channel is. Like, I made this channel in hopes that like it's something that can keep you guys company while you're like doing your own plant things or like freaking cleaning the toilet or doing dishes, or you know, just kind of keep you company. I'm not one of those YouTube channels that are like the ones that like just get right to it and they're super flashy and like, here, 5 things you need in this plant hobby. 1. That makes me, I'm not that person. And I get that those videos do well because it's like bam, 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 you get what you need. But this isn't like 5-minute crafts, okay? Y'all, like, have you seen the videos I put out on this channel? I have a 4-hour-long video, for goodness sake. Okay, so here's the tea. I don't know what's going on with this guy, but I have 3 props here. This was the top of that new growth cutting, of that new growth point, and then here are the old stems. I'm gonna water it right away because I do not want it to dry out. And I need to label it because I have been so bad at labeling my props and I don't know what anything is. And I'm only gonna keep one of these as a backup to my main plant, just because I think that like if there's a plant you really love, you should always have a backup of it just in case something goes wrong. So if anything, I'll probably keep like this one, or I don't know, one of these for myself, and then I will sell the other 2. If this was like a regular Gloriosum that you could just like get at the stores now, like I probably would have just thrown it in the trash can. But it is a form that's really cute, and I do think that someone will want it. I said that I wasn't going to propagate anymore because I just don't really have time to tend to my props, but I think I'm actually going to sell most of my props now and just like not have any propagations because I barely have time to just like take care of my own plants. Okay. Oh crap, I got a new phone and I have to like re-log into everything. It's so annoying. We're just gonna call it Gloriosum Silver. Oh, my tummy. One, 2, 3. I will link this labeler in the description. I really, really like it. I got it for a white elephant gift during our plant Christmas party, and I think I hit the jackpot. Such a good gift. And it's so much easier to use than your typical labeler that takes up a lot of space, or like, I don't know, some of them are really clunky. This one is just like, do it all on your phone. It's super tiny. Look how small it is. And the paper refills are really cheap, so that's a bonus for sure. I don't know why, I think because I've looked at this word Gloriosum 3 times now that it looks like it's spelled wrong. Do you guys ever like feel like that? Like if you say a word too much, you're like, wait, why is that a word? Like cricket. Cricket? This cricket. I fixated on that word like 2 days ago. I just like couldn't believe that was actually a word. Let's put these down. I've got 3 plants left, and I'm gonna do this one first because it's the easiest of all of them, I think. And that's the El Choco. What am I doing with this plant? Am I keeping it? Oh, gosh. I was honestly thinking of just making a little prop box of El Choco and just like selling the babies, or just chopping. Look how long this stem is. Like chopping it up and then giving all of it to my mom. I think she has an El Choco already. That's the thing. I don't want to like bombard her with plants she already has. So these roots don't look great to me. I can see some brand new roots, and I don't think that naturally El Choco, the El Choco has like really big, thick, nice, juicy, plump philodendron roots, but I can see some newer ones. But just to be straight up with y'all, I'm gonna chop off all these roots because I don't like them. Oh, that's another thing I forgot, chopping roots off too. I guess that goes kind of hand in hand with chopping leaves off. People hate when I chop roots off, especially my imports. Why? Why would you do that? I am not gonna explain myself again, okay? I cannot believe how long this stem is. I guess I could just, yeah, like make a little bin of them. I think little El Choco babies would be really cute. But the question of like who's even gonna buy them, or who even wants them, you know? By the way, I do think that for all the plants that I'm propagating, I think I'm gonna be selling them through Lauren on her North Shore Tropicals Instagram live sales, because she can offer them to people in the States, and that just, I don't know, it just works out better for me. And I do get a good amount of people who see me chop up plants and are like, oh, I'm gonna give this away, or I'm gonna try and sell this locally. And yeah, there's a lot of interest, especially from people in the States that are like, please, like, I will pay, like, send it to me. So, you know, if it's a plant that Lauren feels comfortable selling through her business, then I think that's what I'm gonna do. So some of these might be available through her next live sale. Now I'm just not concerned, but now I'm just wondering how I'm gonna propagate these. Not how, I know how I'm gonna propagate it, but like, am I gonna put them all into like a little Tupperware? Am I gonna put them all in their individual cups? Decisions. Too many decisions for a Saturday morning. Okay. Let's start by just chopping this off. Pudge is snoring aggressively in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. Oh, let's go into the next thing that people loathe me for. So along with long intros, a good amount of people have a huge problem with my long videos. I've had several comments saying how like I'm basically not doing you guys a service by not heavily editing my videos, or just like having videos that are just too lengthy and not giving you guys like what you want. There was one comment where it was like, you would have a much bigger audience if you would just cut out some of the blah blah blah. I'll throw in a good example of, I don't know if I want to throw in, do I? We'll see. Maybe I'll throw in a comment, because it's interesting getting comments that are a bit backhanded, and I'm the type of person who I just run hot. I'll just immediately kind of take it as a jab, or as like them being not so nice. But something that I've learned over time through interactions on YouTube is that you can't really know someone's like true intentions at heart 100% of the time, because it just could come off bad when it's worded. And so I don't want to immediately jump down people's throats, especially if I feel like they're genuinely trying to be helpful, even if they've said something a little bit backhanded at the same time. So I don't want to like call someone like specifically out saying like, this is what I mean, but like at the same time, I don't really know how to respond to comments like these all the time, because it's like they've obviously taken the time to tell me like I guess, their genuine advice on like how I could be better. But at the same time, I just find it a bit weird how it's like they make these assumptions about like, oh, you could do so much better and like you would be more popular if you did this, this, and this. And it's not that I don't like having advice on this channel or taking advice. Sorry, I just figured out what I want to do. But at the same time, there's this almost sense of there's a sense of entitlement a little bit that comes through with a lot of these comments, and also just like of a holier than thou, or like I know better than you, trust me. And I don't know, it just puts me off. It really does, because it's like, if you, specifically with the long videos, like if you took the time to actually like look at the videos that I put out and you saw the ones that were the most popular that have like literally over 100,000 views, which is not normal for a tiny channel like mine, you'll see that it's the long ones. Nobody watches my short videos. It's bullcrap. I put myself into this little hole of like, if there's anything shorter, honestly, than like 50 minutes, it's like I'm lucky if I can even get like 5,000 people to watch it. So yeah, with the longer ones, like those are, to be transparent with you guys, those are my money makers. Like I obviously like making long videos for you because naturally I just blab and it's easier for me to just have a long video without having to cut out so much. I like that I make videos that keep you guys company over a long period of time, where you don't have to think about the next video to put on next while your hands are dirty and you don't have time to think about it. But for me also, like, it does make me the most money on this channel are the long ones. And then people tend to rewatch them because it's something that's long that they can put on again, and maybe they see something that they missed the first time. So I'm not here to say that like there are no selfish reasons for me wanting to make long videos, but it's kind of just what has become of this channel, and those are the ones that do the best for me. But you know, I do get the comments here and there that are just like you talk too much, and like you just blab nonstop, and like, why is this video so freaking long? Like those are the ones where I'm like, bro, who's forcing you to watch them, really? Like, has your life changed for the worse so much because of the fact I put out this 3-hour long video? I just don't get it. Like, no one is forcing anyone to watch anything, so I don't really get why anyone is really happy about it, especially since there are so many creators on this platform that make these concise videos, these informative videos, that don't blab as much as me, that don't talk about their personal life, that, you know, they just right to the point content. Like, those are the ones you should be seeking out. Like, go watch their videos, right? Like, there are enough creators out on this platform in this hobby that like you shouldn't feel so pressed by one because they don't make videos the way you want. And then going along with sort of like the backhandedness of some of these comments, I do often get the ones that are like, you know, I love the way that you explain things. I love the way that you go about this hobby, and like, you know, your reasonings for doing things, and I feel like you have a lot to share and offer to people, but it's just not in the form that I want. And that's where I feel like the entitlement comes through, where it's like you want the things that I'm offering you, but you want it packaged in a way that is convenient for you to digest, or is like your preferred way of watching a video. And to me, I just find that, yeah, like really, really icky. Like, there's just this sense of entitlement that I just can't get over. And I don't know if it's because I would personally never, ever, ever, ever go onto someone's platform and be like, this is how you should do it, because this is how I like, you know, my content made, and it's easier for me to like understand it if it's done in this way. Like, there is no reason that someone should alter the way that they make content that's natural to them and organic for them just to serve my needs. And I would never put it out there like that's even a reasonable request. Honestly, it's like, if you don't like the way someone does something, then just move on to the next one. I just don't see the point in trying to like tell someone everything that they're doing wrong, but still say like, I still want like what you're offering, but like just make sure that you do it this way so that I can enjoy it better. That to me just rubs me wrong in all the wrong places. The next one is people getting mad when I talk about my mental health. This one has been a huge one on this channel. I think I got the meanest, like genuinely meanest comment, like having to do with this. And I know I still have it because I saved it onto my highlights. I'll throw it up here. It's kind of a, yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I was definitely taken back when I read this. And this was on my anxiety, depression, and plants video. And they were essentially like calling me a drug addict because I was taking antidepressants, saying that I'm mooching off like the US government even though I don't live in the United States anymore. So yeah, like you get these weird comments like that, right, when you talk about mental health. And then you get ones like this where it's just like, we all have like our issues and like I don't need to like hear about yours, and this is a plant channel, like keep it to plants, like stop talking about yourself and blah blah blah. And actually, you know what, I'm gonna pot this one separately. I think I'm gonna keep it. I think I'm gonna keep it, but I think I want to dome this one and contain that humidity because I can see these sort of drying out in a hot second. Kobe, oh, I missed. So what I'm gonna do is, I mean, I don't necessarily need it to be this big. I guess it doesn't really matter. I've got plenty of these containers. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna seal it in like this. I'm gonna spray it first. So anyways, you get, you know, comments like this that are like essentially saying you're a plant channel, you should keep it to plants, like we don't need to hear about your problems. I watch plant YouTube to like get away from my problems, and the last thing I need to hear about are yours. And like, that's fair, okay? If you watch YouTube to like escape it all and escape the realities of your life, that's fine. But why is that my problem? Like straight up, why is the things that I say on this channel, if it affects you in a negative way, like how is that something that's my fault? Like the best thing for you to do is just not consume content that doesn't serve you. And that's what I do, you know? A big reason why I don't watch plant YouTube is because it doesn't serve my mental health in a positive way because I'm so overloaded with plants already. When I'm not doing plant stuff, I want something that's so not related to my life that like it truly does take me away from everything that's worrying me, all of my stresses. And that's why I like to like read books, or I like to watch horror movies, because it's just something completely different. And I just don't understand why like people are so surprised when they come onto someone's YouTube channel and then they hear about them talking about their lives. Like I find that super freaking weird. And especially people take the time to like write these really long mean comments where I'm just like, damn, you must be going through something so terrible, or you must be so miserable that you felt the need to say all that to me, you know? And so over time, I've learned to just train myself to really feel bad for them, because I think that you have to be some sort of like crazy miserable to project that onto a stranger online. And then I do think a lot of these people need therapy, because it's kind of giving that same energy of like when you have an issue in your life that really is a you problem, but you find any reason to point the finger at someone else. And that's just how I see it. So I will never stop talking about mental health on this channel, just because it's a huge part of why I'm even in this hobby. It's helped me and my mental health so much. It has like brought me out of some of the darkest times of my life, and I'm still going through it right now. Like actually my anxiety and my depression has been so much better, to the point where I've asked all of my therapists, I have a therapist, psychiatrist, and my doctor, I've asked them if I can get off my meds, and they haven't, not that anyone can allow me or not allow me to, but they've all recommended that I still stay on it because they don't want this potentially false sense of wellness to send me into like, maybe a tailspin of just, bad mental health days or whatever. So, I've tapered off. I've been weaning off the strength of the medication I'm on, and I'm on basically the lowest dose that you can take right now. And I've just felt really well because I went through some hard things and I faced all of the things that were weighing me down mentally. I've done very, very hard things over the last few months, and I'm dealing with it now. And it's something that I've talked about previously where, like I said, that I can't speak on it now because there are legal things. I just can't say anything publicly right now, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes that have been very, very hard, but in a sense have been super liberating for me. And I never would have thought that, like, even maybe like 2 years ago, that I would be in the place that I am now. And so I know a lot of people struggle with their mental health, and I know a lot of people use this as an escape from the things going on in their life. And so if I can talk about it and talk about my experience, that maybe it's like more relatable to you, or like it just kind of helps you get through a tough time, then why not? I would choose to do that over trying to keep someone's, keep a subscriber just because they don't want to hear about the shit going on in my life. Then find a different YouTuber. I'm not the YouTuber for you, and I never will be. And like I mentioned earlier, if I couldn't make videos the way I wanted to make them, if I couldn't just be myself and feel like I could turn on a camera and just like hang out with you guys and shoot the shit and tell you how I'm feeling, then I don't want to do it. Okay, El Choco is handled. I am unfortunately keeping this for myself. I don't know why. And then I have my little dome of El Choco here that I will eventually sell. But that's going to be a while before anything happens to it because it's rootless, it's leafless, it's going to be a while. And so now we're moving into the last two plants, which are going to be a headache for me. Anyway, so yeah, I just won't stop talking about my mental health because I feel like the things that I'm going through, when I'm able to talk about it, I think that it could be helpful for a lot of people, and that's just how I want to do things on this channel. And if you feel like you can make a better plant channel where you never talk about yourself and you don't talk about your mental health, which is totally fine, then you should do it. But you trying to convince me that talking about my mental health is like a bad thing, then that's all I have to say. So I'm gonna be starting over. I don't want these leaves anymore. I want to grow this plant from a little tiny thing again. So yeah, mental health. I don't make that like my identity. It's not like I am doing like specific mental health updates, or I'm doing entire videos on mental health like every week or every month. But like I do mix it in here and there, especially when I'm just repotting and having a conversation with you guys. Like, what do you want me to talk about? Stocks? Is that what you want? Crypto? Bitcoin? Is that what you want from me? Ugh. And yes, it's easier, much easier to remove a root-bound plant in pond if it's wet, but I hate working with wet pond. I hate that it sticks to everything, it sticks to your hands. I like how like it just falls out like this when it's dry, you know. I'm gonna have to redo my nails again. This has been so dusty. This has been in that vessel for so long. Like, I think this is one of my longest potted plants. I think I repotted that in like 2020. No joke. Oh God. Okay, moving on. This is another thing that I get a lot of hate for still. It was one of the things that I got a lot of hate for in the very beginning of my channel, which I didn't really expect. It really did catch me off guard, and that's for having a pug. I've been called many different things because I have a pug, and you know, just like the constant, your dog can't breathe and you're torturing him, and how could you support a breed where like they are just miserable. And I get all of the concerns, I get it, but I think that the way that people go about trying to fight this fight about like puppy mills and unethical breeding and stuff, like is that really helping the cause all that much? Because I have a pug and like I'm not breeding these dogs, you know, and I get the concern, and I want to see pugs being bred back to what they were, what they looked like before, which didn't look anything the way they look now. You know, they've got like the long snout, they've got the long legs, they're much thinner, they're leaner. They don't have those breathing issues. But I just find that like people look at pugs and pug ownership or Frenchie ownership, any flat-faced dog really, we've become like easy targets. Because if you think about every breed, like they all have their own issues that come with like the genetics of that the genetics of that dog, and how they are bred and how they've been bred to like have specific features and stuff. And I get the concerns about it. I am 100% like aware that like it's a problem. There are too many dogs in this world that don't have homes because, you know, someone watches the Men in Black movie once and then they decide, oh, I want a pug. And then they realize that they're not these like lazy loafs that they're, you know, portrayed as. They're very, very high energy dogs with like specific needs in terms of, you know, their care, and they can get very expensive because of their health issues. I'm not downplaying or ignoring that at all. Trust me, my husband and I, we are well aware of pug health issues and the cost associated with that. And I realize that that's why a lot of these flat-faced dogs get dumped. It's because they're so cute and they're so adorable, but then you take them home and you're like, holy crap, this thing has so much energy, like seems untrainable, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, and they end up getting like dumped at these like kill shelters. I get it. I don't want to see that either. I love dogs. I love all dogs. And whether you choose to buy from a breeder or adopt, I don't really think that's anyone's business but your own. I don't believe in the, you know, breeders that are taking certain features of a dog and they're just breeding them to be so unhealthy that they just have a terrible quality of life. I don't support those breeders. I didn't get pudged from that kind of breeder. I do believe in the breeders that want to produce dogs that are healthy, that will have like a, you know, a bloodline of healthier dogs. Yes, Pudge has his share of issues, but overall he's very healthy. He makes sounds that are very off-putting to people, and I get it. Like even my own brother-in-law, like he's always nervous around Pudge because, you know, they have a Chihuahua and that dog is like silent. So when you hear a sound that comes from like a flat-faced dog, yeah, it's concerning, and I'm very cautious and cognizant of his limitations because of the breed he is. You know, I won't take him out into the heat. We don't go to places like the beach. When he has play dates with other dogs, there is a certain cap that he hits where I understand that if I go over that, like it could put him in a bad spot. And so as his mom, I'm just doing the best I can to make sure he has a good quality of life. And that means, if necessary, surgery. That's something that I think I was like overly paranoid about from the beginning. You know, Pudge has seen multiple vets, both in the States and in Canada. And the question that I always ask for them, or the question that I always have for them is like, do you think that my dog needs the stenotic nair surgery? And that's when they essentially widen the holes of their nose so that more air can go in and out. I don't know if there is a surgery where like it can sort of like help widen what is it? Oh my God. Where it can just basically open up their throat so more air is getting in and out, because that's an issue that that breed faces because they're bred so like flat faced, right? Where their face is like basically eating their entire face. Their face is eating their face. Those dogs are super cute, but I do look at them and I worry. I had that concern with Pudge, even though he definitely has not as flat of a face as pugs have had historically. And every vet that I've been to say that he doesn't need the surgery. And I'm not a vet. I didn't go to school for that. I just trust them. And I know what Pudge is like on a day-to-day basis. I know he's comfortable. I know he can breathe. But, you know, I wanted to make sure that there wasn't something more that we could do so that he could have the best quality of life possible while he's here. And so it's not that I'm being like willfully ignorant. It's not that I'm scared to put him under for that surgery. I've actually gotten that like third and fourth opinion just to make sure like that vet wasn't wrong or just like didn't know about the breed. And now I actually have a vet that kind of specializes in the flat-faced dogs, and even he was like, I don't see the need. I do find it unnecessary for Pudge to have that surgery, and there would actually be more risks in putting him under now that he's getting older. And that's where we are. That's one thing that really gets me with the comments. Oh my God, I'm literally choking on dust. That's definitely my soft spot or my weak spot in terms of not being affected by a comment. But when people come on this channel and they just make all these assumptions about the kind of person I am just based on the kind of dog I have, yeah, it really does make me mad. People have just said really horrible things. Like, people have even told me that Pudge should be put down. And if you guys knew the things that I do for Pudge, if you knew how he lived on a day-to-day basis, you would know that's absolutely not true. And I don't really feel the need to defend myself anymore, because I know what kind of person I am. I know who I am. I know how I treat Pudge. I know that I have given everything that I can possibly give to give him the best life. And that's like the most I can do. And me trying to convince anyone, any stranger online that I'm not what they say that I am, it's pointless. Like, for what? Because this person liking me is gonna change my life for the better? No. I just don't feel the need to fight that fight anymore, which is why I don't really talk about it much on this channel anymore. It's why I really stopped showing Pudge on this channel. Not because I'm ashamed to have him or I'm scared that the things that people are saying about me are right, but I just don't want to have that conversation anymore. And I just don't like some of the really, really mean things that people have said about him. It's just like awful. I know that he's a dog. I know he can't understand what these comments mean. I know he's not seeing them, but I'm so protective of him. Like, he is my baby. And just the fact that people have said such horrible things about him, I'm like, I can't even, I don't even want to think about it because it makes me so angry. So anyway, yeah, that's something that is a constant on this channel, and I don't think it'll ever go away, but I'm just at a point now where I don't feel the need to address it, and I don't feel the need to defend myself because there's no point. I think I'm gonna dome these as well, both of these. I wish I kind of had like a shorter one, but I guess it's good once it a leaf comes out. So yeah, Pudge hate. It's a thing. But I really appreciate all the people who show him so much love. Speaking of, maybe come say hi to him. Say, were you talking about me? Were you talking about me? Say hi, everyone. They missed you. I think everyone has missed you on this channel. What do you think? I haven't been wanting to film. Why? He's so cute. He's like, Mom, can you finish filming now so we can go out? I'm almost done, buddy. Look, I just have to do this one and see that plant right there? Gotta do that one and then we're done. And we can go have fun together and spend the rest of the day together. Anyway, that's the pug spiel. He is my entire life. I just can't even imagine a world where he doesn't exist. He is my everything. Sorry, I scared you. I would say about 30% of my monthly income goes to him. Not in like an inheritance fund, but like just, you know, vet bills and expensive food, expensive supplements and treats and all that. Like, I try and give him the best because I'm like, the way I see it is like he gets one chance at having the best life, and he could have ended up with anyone, but he ended up with me. So if he ended up with me, I'm gonna try my damn best to make sure that he feels all the love and knows how special he is and how appreciated he is in this house. And I tell him all the time, like I have full conversations with him where I'm like spilling my deepest, darkest feelings about him. Not darkest, my deepest, what is that? Corniest feelings about him. And he just looks at me with like his big bug eyes, like not a thought between those ears. But I'm always telling Vince, like, are you sure he knows? Like, are you sure he knows how much he means to me? Like, I have to know that he knows. I'm like neurotic about it. It's kind of mental. I don't want to get more into it because I do get really worked up. Because like I said, it's my soft spot. And I will defend my dog to the ends of the earth. Oh, that's my period tracker. They both have like a purple app, so I always mix them up. But I'm just gonna label these really quick. Okay, so getting into the the next one. I have been called a whiner multiple times on this channel. People that are just like, oh my god, your incessant complaining and whining is so annoying, and you just always are so negative and blah blah blah, and you always have something that you're complaining about. And I do complain a lot. I can't exactly remember what I complain about, but I do. I complain a lot. But like, the thing is when I complain, I don't expect anyone to fix any of my issues for me besides myself. So I don't know. I don't see the harm in whining and complaining and saying how I feel when I'm not expecting any of you guys to fix my problems. I'm fully aware that when I whine and I complain, that it's something that I'm gonna have to handle. And if I want to just like moan about it for, you know, a couple minutes, like, why not? God, women, right? They just nag and complain. They just moan about things all day long. Ugh, these women, they're just so awful. Oh, I forgot to inoculate these. It's okay. I actually have some Great White in this sprayer right now, so it's being inoculated. Anywho, I was re-inoculating all of my plants yesterday on the plant shelf because I had realized that it's been kind of a while since they've been re-inoculated. By the way, that's a question that I've had before, is like, how often do I inoculate my plants? And it's not like I'm like keeping track of it, but I want to say at least every like 3 months, if I can remember. Maybe more often than that, maybe even like every month and a half. I don't know if that's too much, but that's what I've been doing. So yeah, whining. I guess I'm a whiner. I just whine a lot. But again, like, I'm not just gonna be sunshine and rainbows on this channel. Like, if you're looking for someone who's just like, oh my gosh, I love this plant so much, and then today I saw a butterfly and it landed on my finger and, you know, rode off into the sunset. Like, that's just not gonna be this channel. It's not. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that because that's not who I am. Like, I literally turn on on this camera and I just like talk into the abyss. And I don't put on like a persona for you guys. I don't have like an online personality that I like switch on when the camera comes on, I'm just, I don't know. I'm just being myself, and I realize that like being myself is not going to be for everyone, and I'm not trying. That's not my goal. So if you don't like me, or you don't like the things I talk about, you don't like my personality, then just don't watch me. It's so easy. You could actually even block me so that like I don't come up on your algorithm anymore. I take no personal offense to it. But if you think that just because this is a dedicated plant channel, that I'm just gonna be unicorns and rainbows all day, it's never gonna happen, because I would drive myself crazy. So these suckers are gonna be sealed up for a while. So I've done 3 tapes. Sometimes I'll just do 2, sometimes I'll just do 1, but I'm not planning on opening these for a while. And I'm just gonna keep 1. I'm probably just gonna keep the top, and then once those sprout some new growth plants, I will sell them as well. Okay, I need to clean up here because I'm getting the ick. It's dusty. This whole room is dusty. So be right back. I really should be using gloves for handling this, but I don't have any gloves to use at the moment. So we're just gonna deal with it, and do not do this at home. So while I was cleaning up, I was thinking more about like the topic of whining. And something that seems to be really common when someone says that I like whine and complain too much is they always bring my husband Vince into it. He always somehow gets pulled into the equation of just like, I don't know how he stands you, and I don't, like, he deserves better, and like, I don't know how you don't drive him crazy. First off, how do you guys know that he doesn't drive me crazy? Okay? That man drives me bananas. Bananas. We drive each other bananas, but that's the life we chose. And I would much rather him drive me crazy than anyone else. The thought of another man gives me the ick. And I'll have you know, and I'm gonna say that he watches my videos. I'm gonna say this. He worships the ground that I walk on. Just gonna say it. What you doing there?
I'm just thinking about stuff.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Do you worship the ground I walk on?
Pretty much.
I'm just making sure I didn't miss any corms in here. Not that I really need to be propagating any alocasia, but there are corms, lots of them. So I've got, here, let me show you. So many corms on this guy. I'm just going to be plucking them off, and then I will propagate them in another container, and then I'll eventually re-add it to this same pot so that it's bushier. But finding corms is so fun. It's like one of my favorite things about alocasia ownership is just like finding surprise corms. It's just so fun. Anyway, so yeah, they always bring Vince into the equation. He adores me. I adore him. It's a mutual feeling. And guys, if he wanted to leave me, he would, trust me. Nobody is like holding him hostage in this house. But I just find it so hilarious how it's like I can't even like have an opinion or complain without someone being like, oh, your husband. What about me? Huh? What about me? Just kidding. I do love Vince very much, and I do drive him crazy, but he loves me, and we are in a very, very happy, solid relationship. Not that it's any of anyone's business. This one doesn't have spider mites. Wow. Good job. Good job. Not as many roots on this as I would like. Kind of want to chop the stem down a little bit because it's a little obnoxious, but I'm not gonna do that. I am opting for a tall vessel because of how long the stem is, and I think, do I want to do leca down at the bottom? Sure, why not? Where is my leca? Oh, so yeah, I don't really even know when I complain Like, I edit all my videos, and if I felt like I was complaining too much, I don't know, I might edit it out if I was starting to annoy myself, but obviously I kept everything in, and so I'm fine with it. I complain a lot. I have a lot of gripes in this world. I have a lot of things I love complaining about, and if you don't like a very small woman who complains, then just don't watch. So simple. I feel like I'm like coming off so snarky in this video, but I don't know, man. I speak for like everybody, not just for myself, but like everything that I'm saying about myself in my reasoning is my outlook on how I treat other people. So when I say this for me, I say it for all of us. I'm almost tempted to just like stick these corms on top and just propagate them in here. And I actually think that's what I'm gonna do so that I don't have to add it to the pot later on. But I'm gonna have to peel them back first because they're looking a little nasty. No! Idiot. Getting off the topic of whining and complaining, the last thing that people get mad at me for is having an opinion. I don't know why it bothers so many people when I literally have an opinion about anything. Like, sorry, I'm gonna try and get closer so you can see what I'm doing, but I don't want to hit the camera. It doesn't matter what the opinion is. It could be anything from, and I mentioned this in another video, it could be anything from me not liking Hoya blooms to me, me getting vaccinated. Like, both ends of the spectrum, right? Like, obviously people are gonna have really strong feelings about something like COVID or vaccinations in general, but I could have like the smallest opinion about something and someone on the internet will be absolutely triggered by it. And I just don't get why it seems like people are trying to normalize that creators are supposed to just be these like people that make content online that's supposed to make everyone feel good. Like, you're supposed to be like this perfect little angel. You can't have opinions because if you're opinionated, then you're a bitch. And that's just not me. I have so many strong opinions about things, and I honestly keep it pretty mild on this channel. And I don't voice things I have strong opinions about, really strong opinions about. But yeah, they just have a problem with me having an opinion, and I don't get it. Like, am I not a person? Am I not allowed to have an opinion? I don't get it. I feel like as long as I'm not hurting anyone, like, or like intentionally hurting someone's feelings, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to have an opinion about something. Of course, I try and be careful about the stuff that I put on this channel, but I mean everything I say. I feel like I'm very intentional in the things that I say. And if I have an opinion that makes people angry, I don't feel the need to apologize for it. And I don't think anyone really should apologize for kind of having their own opinion about something, especially if it's something really small, like not liking Hoya flowers. Like, who does that really hurt? And I guess this whole video in general is just one long way of saying that yes, I make YouTube videos for you guys. Like, I'm not the one that's watching these back. I'm not making them for myself. And I do take your opinions to heart. I'm open to constructive criticism as long as there's some level of respect and we can have that mutual respect. But if you come on this channel and disrespect me or come on here with some type of energy, just know that I am the type of person who will match your energy. I will not allow anyone to disrespect me on this channel, and that's just how it is. I think everyone that even if you don't have like a social media or you don't have a platform, I don't think you should let anybody come into your space and disrupt your peace. It doesn't matter if it's friends or family, whoever. Like, I am very, very adamant about protecting your peace no matter the cost. That's how I navigate all of the hate that I get on this channel, because I do feel like I get quite a bit of it for being so small, and I don't think that that's something that's super normal, but at the same time I'm not really surprised, because when people can kind of talk anonymously and hide behind a computer, yeah, it's much easier to like voice how you feel and be more blunt in your feelings and stuff. But you know, there are people behind these channels, behind every Instagram handle and whatever, that have feelings, and I'm just not gonna change who I am or how I do things around here just to try and satisfy every person out there. I feel like I've gotten pretty lucky in that I've attracted like a community that really understand me, and that's all I need. I don't need to become like the next big plant channel or the next big plant YouTuber. That's not my goal. I think that if that was my goal and I was trying to do everything I could to make sure that I never pissed anyone off, I just would really be having a horrible time. But I truly love doing YouTube. I love this community that has gathered here, and that's really all I have to say about that. And me just talking about like the hate that I get online, it's pennies in the grand scheme of things, and I have much bigger fish to fry, but it is something to talk about. And I'm not, oh, flying corn. I am not scared to talk about it. I think that everyone, not everyone, but creators to a certain degree will all get some kind of hate. And I think it's just become normal that like if you are online, you open yourself up to that scrutiny, and that's very true. It sucks, obviously, but it just comes with the job, or it comes with the package. It's like a package deal. If you want to be online making content, you better be prepared for, you know, people to come for you for the smallest things, and I just don't let it bother me anymore. I'm gonna soak these in hydrogen peroxide just to get any gunky stuff off, because it's quite yucky. And then, oh, do I not have an open one? Oh, wait, what? I thought I had one that was open already, but I guess not. I need a cup. I'm gonna just do pure hydrogen peroxide. I'm not gonna do any water. And I'm just gonna dunk these little balls in there. You can't see anything, but they're gonna be soaking for the next couple minutes. Gonna kind of let the hydrogen peroxide do its job. I'm gonna loosen up whatever gunk is still on there that I can get off, scrape it off, and then I'm gonna add it to this pot. But in the meantime, I do not want these roots to dry out, so I am gonna water it. Okay. I'm gonna go grab my Dicarium medigariensis, and we're gonna start on that one, and then we'll get back to this guy. Oh my gosh, there's pond everywhere. I am freaking starving, and I'm ready to be done with this video so I can eat. My stomach is making noises that I have never heard before. It's a little alarming, so I'm gonna make this really quick, but I don't think that there's anything else that I missed. I don't think so on this list, but yeah, just a topic of conversation for today. I guess my moral of the story, not my moral of the story, but the point of this video is like, if someone doesn't like you for whatever reason, don't make it your problem. It's not your problem, it's their problem. Just keep doing you, stay in your lane, pay your bills, spend time with your family. Don't forget to take some breaks, take care of your mental health. It's just as important as your physical health. And that's it. Now, what am I gonna rehab this in? Because she is essentially rootless. I'm just treating this as a rootless plant now. what makes the most sense? Do I want to try pon with this? I'm a little bit, like at this point, it has such a tiny root system that I could start over in whatever I want. I did like the growth in soil, but I feel like it would be easier for me to maintain it in pon, and it is a very thirsty plant. For having no leaves, it actually uses a lot of water. So, the plan, what's the plan? I had it in such a tall vessel, not really because of how large the root system was. It didn't have a massive root system to begin with when I potted in there, but it does kind of grow downward, right? Like a weeping willow tree. And so I wanted it to be high enough that like it didn't touch the ground, whatever surface it was sitting on. But now that it's much shorter, I think I can get away with putting it in something smaller. I'm not loving this combination. I think that this plant deserves something a little bit more special, but right now my concern is just getting it rehabbed. I think a smaller vessel makes the most sense for this guy. It's just a question of which one. I'm almost inclined to do a plastic pot, honestly. It's not the ideal vessel, but it'll work. I think it's the right size. I want to be able to keep an eye on it. I still want to keep it in no drainage, but I definitely need something smaller. It was in that really big thing before. It did not help that it had rocks. I'm going to chuck all that soil. I'm not going to try and salvage anything because of the fact it had such a bad infestation of spider mites. So anyway, I want to conclude this video by saying that I'm really appreciative of a lot of the sweet comments I've gotten from you guys over the last few videos. You know, I've just kind of said that like I've got a few things going on in my personal life that has prevented me from really, am I shaking the table? That's prevented me from like putting out long videos and really taking as much time as I usually do to make videos for this channel. It's why I haven't uploaded anything on my personal channel and my vlog channel in ages. I can't even like wrap my head around even thinking about putting out a video on that channel. I'm trying to think of like the perfect orientation for this. I don't know why I'm not feeling any of these orientations. Okay, I'm just gonna do it like this. Besides the thing that's been ongoing since the beginning of this year that I haven't like said any details about yet, which I will eventually, I hope. Trust me guys, I want this process to go really fast, just so I can get it over with. Not just so I can like actually talk about it, but I just want it to be done. But we're kind of, well, if you're my age, you're in that, you might be in that part of your life where we're seeing people in our families getting older, you know, going through their own health things. Last year, my dad got prostate cancer, or had prostate cancer, and that was just like my little kind of like taste or wake-up call of like, not only am I aging, but so are our parents and our aunts and our grandparents, and you know, we all have to go through it at some point. And it's, I think, one of the most cruel parts about being alive, being human, is just the fact that like as you go out, as you age, you do have to deal with a lot of the health things that come with it, and it not only affects that person, but it affects the family as well. So yeah, I think you guys kind of catch my drift that there are just things going on in me and Vince's life that are definitely taking priority right now, and it's kind of just like consumed our every waking hour. And yeah, that's pretty much what's going on over here, and I'm still trying to keep work going and keep some level of normalcy in my life as much as possible, while still trying to be supportive to the family and stuff. But yeah, that's what's going on. I am gonna water it because I don't want it to dry out completely, even though I'm not working with a ton of roots. And right now this one is just sitting in my cabinet in the living room, the one next to my shelf. I have a lot of my sort of arid plants in there and it gets pretty warm. Not a ton of airflow, so it kind of gets humid sometimes, but it seemed to like it in there. Besides the, you know, spider mite thing, which I hope I got a handle on. I mean, I did a full soak. Hopefully it doesn't like kill the entire plant, but I'm keeping my fingers and toes crossed because I truly would be really devastated if anything happened to this plant. So everyone, please send it off now. Give it all the good juju, good thoughts, prayers, whatever you'd like to provide us with. And now I'm gonna just finish off by adding these corms back into this pot and just propagate it there instead of making a bin for it. It'll be much faster if I just stuff these into stratum and put it into like a little, you know, dome or like prop bin, Tupperware type of thing. But, you know, when you do that, then you have to go through the hassle of adding it to your pot, and that usually comes with like a full repot, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. And alocasias, I mean, they naturally will just, you know, find its way out of the pot and just grow into its own plant without people having to help it. It just figures it out on its own. At least now I can kind of place them where I want. And I am gonna bury them just a little bit because I think it's gonna be okay. I don't feel the need to like have them really sitting above the substrate because I still want to get some roots on it. So I will be covering them up a little bit, but my main concern right now is getting roots on them since I detached it from the main plant. This is kind of a lot of corms to be adding to this pot, but YOLO. I don't want to, this is not a plant that I can see myself like propagating and then like selling for a ton of money. Like it's like I would much rather just keep the corms I want and then throw away the rest or give it away to someone. But again, I don't really have the time right now to be setting up a bunch of pickups and things. So what I'm doing is just placing them over the top, and hopefully they will find their way. If I can even get like 2 of these to sprout and do something for me, that will be perfect. Just keep in mind that if you do go this method and you want to propagate them this way, that you're gonna have to pretty constantly be spraying it down. Maybe not doing a full watering, but the corms essentially grow like at the bottom, right? And so it's getting all of that like moisture from the rest of the pot. But this is where your plant's gonna be the driest. This is where it's gonna dry out the fastest and have the least amount of moisture. So by keeping it like hydrated and keeping it wet, you're basically fostering like the right environment for it to actually propagate and turn into something. Otherwise, it'll probably just dry up and die, which that could be the case for this one, but finding those corms was kind of a bonus. So if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I've done this with my scalprum and it was just fine. I think I have like 4 plants in there now, maybe even 5 now. But I just have to remember to spray this down, especially since I'm keeping it somewhere with not a lot of humidity. I actually have just been keeping it on this shelf, but I think I'm gonna stick it into this exo next to me now. I wish these leaves would be friends because they would look so cute together, but they're not. I guess they're not on good terms right now. So anyway, I got nice and messy in here. I am tired, I am hungry, so I'm gonna go, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's repot and chat. I feel like it's been a while since I've been able to actually like sit down and do one of these with you. So I hope I kept you company while you did all of your stuff. Hopefully I delivered a long video today. It's kind of felt long. I feel like I've been filming for like 3 hours. That's gonna wrap it up for me today. If you liked it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching another video, and I will see you in the next one. Ugh, can't reach.